The World Cup is officially over. Spain won, Argentina 0. Guys, I'm gonna be completely honest, this was the most one-sided World Cup final I've ever seen in my life. I think maybe in all of history, this may be the most one-sided World Cup final ever. Like, I don't even want to talk about Argentina because that's how one-sided this was. Bro, zero shots in pretty much 120 minutes. Zero shots, guys. They had their first shot in the 117th minute. That shot that was from Messi, that was pretty much blocked right away. And then their pretty much only real shot in the game was that chance from Giuliano Simeone in, I think it was 122 minutes, blazed it over the bar. Bro, this was the most one-sided game I've ever seen in my life. And guys, once again, FIFA, EAFC, they're right. They predicted Spain from the start and they get it right. Honestly, I feel like I should have gone with Spain. I predicted France, but guys, the way that Spain have played in this World Cup, it's insane. Like, have they been the best looking team in terms of aesthetically the way they play? No, they don't have crazy shots. They don't have crazy fast players, but the way that midfield and back line can hold possession, can hold the ball, they're some of the best passers in the world. And it's crazy because you look at Spain throughout their whole history, the amount of incredible passers that they have of the ball is incredible. You look at that side that won the back-to-back Euros and the World Cup in between from 2008 to 2012. Look at that midfield. And once again, look at this midfield. Look at Rodri. Look at how he performed this tournament. He was probably one of the best players this tournament. You look at the player beside him, whether it's Pedri, whether it's Fabian Ruiz, incredible every single game. The way that Spain can just hold the ball, dictate play, hold possession is incredible. And I feel like also a very underrated part about Spain's team that a lot of people aren't talking about is their back line. These defenders are incredible at passing the ball. Pedro Porro, Cucurella, the way they've been playing this World Cup is incredible. Whether they've been getting goals, getting assists, but even just the way they pass the ball, it's incredible. The way they can hold possession, the way that all these players, whenever there's pressure on them, it's like they don't feel any pressure. It's like a Busquets reincarnation. It's crazy, guys. And even the center backs, Cubarsí and Laporte. I was saying in my World Cup final prediction, the way that Argentina would score in this game is from a header, because we know Argentina, they've scored a lot of headers in this World Cup, which is crazy because they have a lot of short players. But I thought that the only way that they may score in this game is from a header, because you look at this Spain backline and they're good at everything except sometimes balls over the top. We see Cubarsí, we see Laporte sometimes struggle. So that was the only way I saw Argentina maybe score in this game. I did predict a 2-1 win, but I said multiple times it could easily be 1-0. It could easily be a game where Spain score a goal, they close up shop, and Argentina can't get one back. And we know Argentina so far in this World Cup, they've been able to get a goal back in every single game they play, guys. We saw it against Cape Verde, we saw it against Egypt, we saw it against Switzerland, we saw it in the last game that they played against England. Guys, this Argentina team are the comeback kings. The way they come back in every single game is incredible. But you could see throughout this World Cup that they were not going to win the World Cup. For people that predicted Argentina to win this World Cup, to win this final against Spain, I don't know. I never saw it happening, because this Argentina team, yes, they're a very good team, but they never had, in my opinion, the talent, the individual quality to win this World Cup. And even though they made it this far from all these incredible comebacks against Spain, the team who completely neutralized France and held France to only a few shots. Guys, in this game, Argentina had pretty much one shot for 120 minutes. Guys, by the way, this is the first World Cup final in history where one of the teams had 0 shots in 90 minutes, let alone 90 minutes, almost 120 minutes for Argentina to get their first shot. Guys, I think this was the most one-sided final I've ever seen in my life. On the other hand, you look at Spain, they had 20 total shots. They had over half of those shots on target, which is incredible. That shows you the quality of this Spain attack. Even though they have struggled in some games, even though we've seen them struggle to score, they still have the quality. And that's why they had so many shots on target. Over 50% shots on target is incredible. And it's very different to what we've seen from Spain earlier on in the tournament, where we've seen them struggle to get shots on target. We've seen them, it takes sometimes 10, 15 shots to finally get a goal. And that was seen in this game, as it took them 20 shots and 10 on target to score, but eventually they get the job done. Now, if we look at Argentina, guys, I can't say any of their players performed good. I don't think any of their players performed good. I think all of them were making mistakes. The second that Enzo Fernandez got the yellow card, I knew he was getting a second one. This was just the type of game that you saw Enzo Fernandez 100% getting a second yellow. He got the second yellow. I do think it was a second yellow, and Enzo Fernandez was sent off. From there on, it was 100% Spain. Even before that, Spain were very, very dominant. But after that, it was like, it was 90% Spain, 10% Argentina. Spain did not even let Argentina get a sniff of the ball. They could, in the second half, I don't even think Argentina strung together 10 passes in a row. Like, that's how dominant Spain were in this game. And for Argentina, like I said, maybe the goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, is the one player you can say had a decent game. He made a few decent saves. Although, to be honest, even though Spain had many shots on target, I didn't think they were the best quality shots. I thought sometimes they lacked the accuracy that they needed, sometimes the power that they needed. So I feel like the final shot, the final action of the Spanish team can still get better. And that does come with the fact that they have a couple young and more inexperienced players in the attack. You look at a player like Dani Olmo, a player like Lamine Yamal, Baena, even a player like Nico Williams. These players don't have that much experience at the highest level with the Spanish national team. A lot of these players, this was their first World Cup. So it makes sense. But even just the pure amount of shots that this Spain team gets in every single game is incredible. The way they dominate possession is incredible. And like I said, I think for Argentina, the only player I can say had a decent game, made some decent saves, was the goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez. I don't think any other player did anything. Defensively, I guess defensively they weren't too bad. But obviously, you know, we saw Lisandro Martinez get the early yellow card. He comes off at halftime. Then obviously they make the substitution. And from there, it kind of went downhill. Yes, they were still defending, but it just never really looked like they were going to score. I feel like Messi never really got in the game. I feel like he didn't have any help from Julian Alvarez. I feel like the midfield for Argentina was second best. I said in my prediction video that, in my opinion, the biggest matchup in this game would be the midfield matchup, the midfield battle, the battle between Rodri and Fabian Ruiz against the likes of McAllister, against Enzo Fernandez, and the Argentinian midfield failed. One of the players was sent off. McAllister had a poor game. DePaul was shit when he played. The other, whoever it was, whether it was Gonzalez, whoever it was, I thought they were all poor. The midfield from Argentina was very poor in this game, misplacing a lot of passes. We saw Spain win the ball back so many times in the middle of the pitch. And yes, that is because of their incredible press, guys. Whenever you saw Argentina get the ball, instantly within the next 5 seconds, you saw 3-4 Spanish players all on one player getting the ball back. So it is down to Spain's incredible press, but it's also down to Argentina's midfield just not having the best game. And, you know, we've seen some good games from these players. We've seen some good game from Enzo Fernandez. In my opinion, if it wasn't due to Enzo Fernandez, they wouldn't even got here. But in this game, he was poor, and I think he did deserve the second yellow, and he was sent off. Now, guys, if you look at the Spanish team, you know, we talked about Argentina, but in terms of Spain, all their players were incredible. Defensively, fantastic. Cucurella, Porro were incredible on the fullback positions. You look at their midfield, just so good. Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, when Pedri came on, he was incredible too. The midfield was fantastic. And in the attack, I will say, like I said, they had a lot of shots, but they maybe weren't clinical enough. And that is obviously an area of criticism from players like Lamine Yamal, Baena, Oyarzabal, even Olmo, right? And we have seen this World Cup, and that's why we've seen in multiple games where it takes 10 to 15 shots before Spain can get a goal. But at the end of the day, if the Spain team can dominate possession this much, then it doesn't really matter if it takes them 10 shots to score a goal, because they're not going to concede a goal, for one, like we saw this whole tournament. And second of all, they're going to have that volume of shots. They're going to have 15 to 20 shots if they have 70% possession of the ball every single game. That's what they've done. That's how they were able to so easily beat France, and that's how they were able to so easily beat Argentina in this game. Guys, I think this may be the start of a dynasty for Spain. I honestly think it will. We saw it in 2008, 2010, and 2012. They won back-to-back Euros and a World Cup in between. I think we could see the same thing again under Luis de la Fuente. I think this manager is incredible. The way he was managing the youth systems and now managing the national team, incredible. And the way that this team played in the Euros and now in the World Cup, it's the exact same. It's the exact same. Maybe in the Euros, they were a little bit more clinical. Maybe in this World Cup, they kind of lacked that clinical finishing ability. But in terms of the way they hold possession, it's always been one of Spain's biggest advantages over most teams within the last decade or 2 decades. We saw it in the early 2010s, and I think we're seeing it again. I think the way that this team can dominate possession, no other team can beat that. No other team. I don't care who it is. No other team can beat that. And that's why Spain won at the end of the day. And that's why they deserve to win. And that's why they deserved to win the 2026 World Cup. But guys, that's the end of the video. Spain won the 2026 World Cup. I predicted them to win. Argentina, they had a good run. Fair play to them. Were some of the calls going their way? I think so. But at the end of the day, they just simply did not have enough for the Spain team. And that's why I thought Spain were going to win. But guys, the World Cup is finally over. There's still going to be a lot of World Cup videos coming out on the channel. We're going to be doing some recaps. I want to do a post-World Cup ranking and a few other videos as well. So stay tuned for that. But obviously, guys, I thought the World Cup was absolutely incredible. The group stages were phenomenal and the knockout stages were very good too. And I do think Spain are the deserved winners of the 2026 World Cup. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video.